Good morning, friends. Welcome to the Art of Storytelling. I'm Dr. Jenny Harrop. I am your instructor for the course this term. I'm also director of the School of Professional Studies and director of the Writing Center. So if you need any assistance as you're pursuing your degree or any connections with the Writing Center, let me know. I can help you in those places as well. I am so excited for our time together and just stepping into what may come, because we've all learned to be flexible, haven't we, in recent months? And I hope that you're recognizing the importance of story as a connector in all that we are, in the ways that we learn to understand each other, the ways that we learn to understand ourselves, the ways that we may sell our products, entice people to the work that we do, get people to change their minds. It often is all about narrative and about story. So as we approach this course together, I don't want you feeling intimidated if you're not somebody who's excited about, for example, writing a poem or writing a short story. That's not necessarily what this course is about, although it can be. So, you know my background. I'm an English professor by training. My original training actually was in journalism, so I spent some years in journalism as well. That's what my bachelor's degree is in. And I have an MFA in creative writing. I have a PhD in English. I also have a doctorate in Christian ministries and leadership in the study of semiotics and sort of the science and the future of the church. So I'm also interested in story as it pertains to the Bible and to our Christian faith. We can go in any of those directions, but I've had students take this course and I think very much enjoy this course who, for example, work at Nike or work in the Providence healthcare system and begin to recognize the importance of story in the work that they do, in the ways that they might attract customers, in the ways that they might speak to customers, in the ways that they even speak to their coworkers and craft an effective email. It can be about the art of understanding what good, effective narrative is. So I want you to be thinking this first week about what you most want to get out of this course. So there may be some of you who are so excited to work on poetry or to work on a play or something to do with what we would traditionally think is creative writing, and that's great. I'm here to help you. I do have expertise in those areas, and I'm happy to mentor you as you're working on a project. And there may be some of you who don't want to go in that direction, and maybe you're in the business world or the healthcare industry or project management, whatever it is. I'd like to hear that from you and hear the direction that you would like to be exploring narrative in this course. Something that I want you to get a sense of very early on this first week is that there are some patterns that our brains expect whether or not we're trained in the art of storytelling. And so I'm hoping what this course will be for you is sort of an exposing of the secrets so that you'll know the undergirding of what good narrative is, of what good story is, and be able to craft it well on the underside so that those that it goes to will never know what hit them, never know why it is that they find the work that you produce so satisfying, so engaging. Well, that can be because you understand that underside of what's actually happening. We as humans, our brains are wired for good story. Now, that doesn't mean that it always has to follow a formula or follow a pattern. But what I want you to learn, even just this first week, is what some of those basic patterns are that we expect, that those that we're writing to will expect. And then you can take the pattern and either follow it so that your readers are satisfied, they expected what was coming. You know what that feels like when you watch a movie that you think, well, it was kind of predictable, but it was really good because I felt comfortable. I didn't feel uneasy at any point. I knew what was coming, and that's what came. Then there are times that that's irritating because you know what's coming. So why did I bother reading it? Why did I bother writing, or why did I bother watching the movie? So you can also take the formula and tweak it. You can take the formula and turn it on its head. And that's okay too. But if you don't know the formula, it's difficult to turn it on its head, right? So we're going to learn some of those formulas over our 8 weeks together, but really right here jumping in with this first week, we're going to learn some of that. And then I want you practicing it and playing with it and toying with it. And if you don't know your own purpose for the course, what you're expecting or hoping to get out of it in order to do your job better, in order to do a hobby better, whatever it might be, then it's difficult to know how to land in this new knowledge. So first thing I want you thinking about is what you want to get out of the course and what your purpose is in taking it beyond just satisfying whatever degree or credits are required. And then I want you engaging with the material with that lens at all times. So for each of you, that lens might be a little bit different. And as I get to know you, then I'll get to know what you're hoping for and hopefully mentor and coach you in that direction. Our books are both open textbooks. They're free online. You're welcome to access them in that way. I would encourage you to, because then you don't need to spend any money. I'm a person who likes paper too, so they are both available in paper, and you can go that route as well. They're both great books. There are parts of them, both books, that you'll be like, yeah, I don't feel like this really relates to me. And so that's where I encourage you to practice the art of reading quickly. That's okay. This is a short course. I mean, it's only 8 weeks that we're spending together. So I don't want you bogged down in reading that you don't think applies to what you want to get out of the course. That doesn't mean skip the reading. It means you're still turning through everything that's required, because there may be times when I'm asking you in a discussion forum to respond to something that I will expect that you've read. So I want you reading everything, but you might read more quickly on some of these pieces that, it might be something about sports writing. And you think, I'm never going to do that. It doesn't really appeal to me, but there may be somebody else in the course that it absolutely does appeal to. So we're going to still go through the textbooks, but I just want you aware that there'll be parts that'll be really exciting, I hope, because it will apply to what you're looking for. And then there might be parts that you would read through more quickly. Our discussion forums, starting with one that is due with an initial post this Wednesday by midnight, are going to be video this term. So I see some people on our list of students who've had me before, so you're familiar with this already. Some of you, it might be new to you. When you go to the discussion forum in Foxtail, you're going to see a little camera icon that you're going to click on, and you're going to do just what I'm doing here, which is to basically talk to your own face, which feels sort of weird. You'll get used to it. And you're going to record a video that's going to max out at 4 minutes on Foxtail, I believe. Now, sometimes I haven't been on it since they did a recent upgrade. Sometimes it's been 5 minutes, sometimes 3 minutes. So you'll have to get a sense of where the max is. And if it cuts you off, it's fine. Don't worry about it. What I don't want you doing are multiple takes where you're trying to get a perfect speech. I want you to think of this more as you're going to read the question that I'm asking you. You're going to read the materials that are related to it, watch the TED Talk or whatever it is, and then you're going to cogitate on the question for a little bit, and then you're going to, as if you raised your hand in class and you're speaking up, do it in one take. And if a cat walks by or a dog comes in or a kid comes through, it's fine. Don't worry about it. We're not worried about perfection. We need to be able to hear you. We need to be able to see you, so that we get to know one another. And you do need to address the prompt, but I don't want you concerned about doing multiple takes. So discussion forums, just know that your initial post each week will be a video, and you should be able to do it right there through Foxtail. If for some reason you have trouble with that because of your internet connection, because of your device that you're using, let me know. There are other ways to do it. You can even do a video on your phone, upload it to your free YouTube account that each one of you has because of your George Fox email. If you were to go on YouTube, you can find that you have your own account if you sign in through your George Fox email. And then you can upload the link that way if you need to. So let me know if you have any help or need any help with that. It shouldn't be difficult. Your responses to one another then will be in writing, and all those instructions are there for you on your first discussion forum. Your writing assignments are going to be fairly loose in terms of my instructions to you. And this very first assignment, I'm just asking you to tell a story. What does that mean? Could it be a fictional story? Yeah. Could it be the story of what happened to me last weekend? Sure. Can it be something related to work that you could actually use at work because you're selling a product, you're selling a service, you're talking about something new that you need to introduce coworkers to? Sure. Any of those things can go. I want you to pick something that's meaningful to you. I've had students who've written to children or grandchildren. Anything. You imagine it, it's probably been done. So I don't want you locked into something that doesn't feel meaningful to you. I want you to land on learning the arc of the narrative and practicing it and doing it in a way that's useful to you. So the instructions are pretty detailed and I hope clear. Let me know via email if you have any questions at all. I'm always easy to get a hold of through email. The two concepts that I want us really digging into this week are Aristotle's triangle and Freytag's pyramid. Both of these you can look up extra information about online if you needed to. Aristotle's triangle is important to recognize because the three corners of that triangle are not in any hierarchical order, as in purpose is the most important thing, and then audience is next, and then the writer's role is next. These are all considered equally important, and what that means is most of us are taught that purpose is your primary importance when you sit down to write something. What your purpose is of the utmost importance, and that's very true. But most of us have not thought about the fact that your audience and your knowledge as a writer of who your audience is equally important to your understanding of what your purpose is. Thirdly, your role as the writer, and what that means is, what is my gender? What is my age? What is my religion, if I have one? What is my education level? Where did I grow up? Where do I live now? Who are my circle of friends? What is my job? All of this has an impact on the language that I use, the worldview lens that I come to the world with. And when I sit down to write, all of that becomes very evident. If I have done some self-reflection and am aware of my own tendencies, my own language that I use, and I'm equally aware of my audience and what they might expect or use, and I'm equally aware of my purpose, and then you'll see that word in the middle of Aristotle's triangle that I've put in there, that's medium. What is the medium that you're using? Is it a paper for a class? Is it a blog that you're writing? Is it an email, etc.? All of that is equally important. And if you don't do the work of, and for some of you this might be writing it out, but for a lot of it, it's thinking about it while I'm driving. Who's my audience? And if I don't know, then I'm going to do some Google work and I'm going to look up who my audience is. I will always list for you on every assignment what your purpose is, who your audience is. That may change from week to week. And I want you thinking about all of those equally as you sit down to write. Freytag's pyramid, I've also loaded a little YouTube video that you can watch that's kind of fun because it takes it through a Harry Potter story so that you can see how these things apply. Freytag was a German scholar who came up with a theory of the arc of narrative. And why I want you to understand this is that it's what we all expect when we sit down to watch a movie. And some of us, as I said before, expect for that to be dismantled. We don't want to know what the ending is that's coming. We want that to be foiled. So if you look through that arc of the narrative and understand the components, the definitions of those different pieces, and then see how you put it into play yourself in a narrative. You can sit down and think about the parts as you write, and now I'm going to do this, or you can just write and then come back after as you edit yourself and see where those components fall and whether they're there at all and if you need to add them back in. As I said before, the more you understand the undergirding, the more successful you will be in your final product. Take the time to edit your work. When you turn in a writing assignment, any writing assignment for this course, you're going to see all the expectations outlined in the syllabus in terms of when things are due and the repercussions if things are late. So just make sure you're in communication with me. You can turn in a revision at any point for any writing assignment in this course. If you're not happy with the grade that you earned, look in this syllabus under revisions. There's a paragraph titled revisions, and you can see what that is. I'm going to let you go, launch you on your first week in our class, The Art of Storytelling. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions. Blessings on your week.